Hello, everybody, and welcome to Horse Center. Tonight, we got Swiss Army Shawn and the young phenom out there on the West Coast, Jockey Diego Herrera. Diego, how are you tonight?
Good getting yourself?
Doing good, thank you. So let's just get to the most important stuff right off the gate, man. You're a Southern California kid, right?
Yes.
Rams are in the Super Bowl. Are you going?
I could throw a rock to the stadium right now. No, I wish I could go.
Well, I mean, you got it. I mean, you're riding with the likes of Mike Smith over there at Santa Anita. A lot of hot shots hang out over there. I mean, somebody you rub shoulders with, or at least some of the owners got some tickets. Maybe you should tell, hey, if you want me to run a little bit harder, I think I need two.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it'd be super cool to go, but I mean from now we'll just watch it from my house. Hopefully next year we'll be in the top 10, top 5, top dogs in California, and we'll be able to get some tickets.
What do you mean? Hopefully, you'll be one of the top dogs. Let's go. Let's rewind the videotape a little bit, as they say. So you're riding at two tracks, which brings me back. Your father had said growing up, and you said this was a motto that kind of inspired you. That your dad said, "A prepared man is worth two." So that's why you're riding at two tracks, right? Tell us about it.
Yeah, he ever since I was small, he'd always he always engraved that to me. He said, a prepared man is worth two. Going to school and working hard. You're prepared. Because you're going to school and you're working hard. You're able to provide for yourself and for your family. So that was always something that he always told me, and now I'm using it on the track. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're doing it at two tracks. So as I was saying, let's rewind the videotape when you're going to big shout out in Southern California. So Los Alamitos, I think you are a big shot at Los Alamitos. You're tied for the number one in wins right now, right? So that would
Uh,
make you a big shot. And then at Santa Anita, you're tied for seventh. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, you should be the king of I was gonna say Carolina, Southern California, right about now.
Yeah, I think this is just the beginning. I wanna keep my head real low and keep on grinding, keep on working hard, and try to be the best I can. And maybe at the end of the year when I look at the stats, I'll be number one or number two. That'd be great. But just keep working hard right now and stay keep my feet under the ground always, and keep on working hard and striving to be better.
So speaking of keeping your feet on the ground, we've talked to a lot of jockeys that had a lot of success when they were young, like you are having now. And then as they moved through their lives because of some of that success, with success comes good things, but also can come the temptation for bad things, right? So is there like a jockey, maybe at Santa Anita or Los Alamitos, that puts his arms around you and says, "Hey, look, man, these are some of the things that are going to come your way. You better be prepared, and so that you know what pitfalls to avoid."
Yeah, at Los Sal, I have a lot of role models and a lot of people that tell me, and one of the biggest mentors that I have is Oscar Andrade Senior. He went through all that. I mean, unfortunately, his career was cut short, but he was at his highest, and lowest, his lowest, and he's always told me, this winning right now, it's something that it just kind of it's a give back from God, and the people that see you working hard in the mornings. I started from the ground up, and I know what it is to struggle, and getting paid minimum wage as a groom, and hot walking. So all this is very new to me. So he's always like, okay, this success is this is for you to give a little taste of what the good life is. You have to keep on working though, because this game is like a roller coaster. Sometimes you're winning, sometimes you're losing, and it's what it's the difference between a great rider and a good rider. When you can be able to pick yourself up from those defeats and keep on going and showing the people that just because you had a a setback from a minor comeback, it's just kind of something that's always been a part of my learning process.
Hmm.
What's funny about this, Diego, is it could ask the question about everybody says you're the most mature 17-year-old, all no, not cocky, not arrogant, nothing at all. And I don't even need to ask those questions because in the first 5 minutes you just proved it right away. So in your life, what is a daily schedule for Diego Herrera when you're riding two tracks? How's your whole day line up?
Usually my Sundays are my busiest days, so I kind of start off my day around 4:30, 5 in the morning, and wake up, get ready for my day, and head out to, usually on the weekends, I'm usually always from Friday to Monday I'm at Santa Anita. So I usually start off my day at Santa Anita, and just depending on how many workers I have, I kind of set my schedule, and Derek, my agent, he sets up pretty a lot of workers usually at Santa Anita on the weekends. I'm pretty busy there. So you know I'll be done around 9:30, and head to the jock room and relax and get ready for racing. Have some breakfast and get ready, and then once I'm done with my riding at Santa Anita, I'll hop in my truck and go to Los Al, and ride my races there, and be done around. Usually I'm one of the last people to leave Los Al because I'm usually riding the last. But there's some days that I don't. So I always stick around. You never know when you can pick up a couple mounts. So I just try to stay there, and Los Al is like my home. So it's kind of hard to leave right away after the races when everybody's still there. So I like to hang around all the people, and after my night's done, I go home, sleep, get rest, and do it all again the next day.
It's a big
Do you,
circle, right?
Yeah.
do you have any days off, or do you even know what a day off is? Or
They're rare, but sometimes I do try to give myself some in between. Usually my days off, or my I should say hours off, or like from 1 to 5 in the afternoon. Like to take some naps, but I don't remember when the last time I took a day off was, so I can't really tell you that I have days off,
but
but.
besides sleeping and besides horses, when you do get time to do anything else, what else does Diego Herrera do?
I like to go horseback riding. Me, Angela, and Elena, we hop on, load up the trailer and go. We go a lot to the Hollywood sign. There's a couple trails that you can go, but the closest here to where we are from Los Al is the Whittier. There's some trails there, so that's what takes my mind off of stuff. Just going out in the afternoon and enjoying some sun, and riding. I like to de-stress myself there. I'm always like I said, horses are my everything, and it's kind of hard to stay away from them for too long.
Hmm.
Good,
Shawn, you
Rich.
sound like you're going to say something. Go ahead, fire
No,
away,
go
Shawn.
ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was making a noise. I was in agreement, shaking my head, Shawn. I didn't mean to confuse you, my friend.
Yeah, sorry about that. The other thing I had, I think on another article or another podcast, I forget. You said you wanted to improve in turf racing. That was the one thing you really have. How much more have you learned on that, and you starting to feel a lot more comfortable on turf?
Yeah, this turf riding, it was super new to me, because I haven't been riding thoroughbreds for that long, and when I moved over to Santa Anita, it's really kind of shocked my eyes, and looking at these different riders, very smart riders that we have at Santa Anita, and different other tracks. You kind of you know. I like to look at them and take some notes, but in the last couple of months I've learned tremendously from a lot of different riders to ride on the turf, and I've been watching a lot of European racing, and a lot of Australian racing where where all they run is grass, and I've learned a lot. I've kind of little by little I'm becoming I think I'm becoming a better rider on the turf, and understanding it a lot more. It's a lot different from the dirt, and it's gotta be a lot patient and more sure. You have to use more strategy wise as you're going along the race. Every little um mistake or decision can either cost you the race or win you the race.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of winning races, so when you started off a quarter horse racing, and you say Los Al is your home, but you're also doing the racing at Santa Anita Del Mar, so the thoroughbred circuit. When we talk to folks who are from quarter horse racing, they say the key is fast and straight, right? And of course, that's probably what you're trying to do on a quarter horse. But you had mentioned in an article that you want to be more patient on thoroughbreds. So it's like you have two different riding styles. How did I would think that your natural inclination should be like, man, let's get up and get out of here and get going, because that's what you do in quarter horses. How did that come about where you said to yourself, well, you know what, man, I probably need to be a little bit more patient on these?
It's kind of there's a couple of horses that don't have that natural speed that you usually try to use, and sometimes I tend to kind of break and go, and I've noticed in a couple of my mounts that I'm not riding a favorite, or I'm on a long shot. So you try to break and go, and you kind of you get to the quarter point, you have nothing left. So I've been trying to use my strategies and all that I know from the quarter horses, and try to using it as an advantage on the thoroughbreds. But I've always been told that patience is what people like to see here at the back at Santa Anita. Aggressive riding as well. So I've tried to been more patient on all my mounts, dirt and grass. I'm used, riding quarter horses and the thoroughbreds at night. It's all just break and go. You can't. There's no sitting behind horses, or there's no waiting, or you kind of just have to break and go. So it's kind of, at first it was a little hard to transition from going from doing it in the night, and then you have to come back and do it in the afternoon. But I think I've adjusted pretty well to doing it, and I'm getting a lot better at being more patient and thinking a lot more.
So Robert Bryan, one of our watchers, is asking, what's the difference in your view between dirt and turf for a rider?
I think that there's a huge difference, because on a quarter on the dirt, you can, there's a lot of stuff that you can't do on the turf. You can't go four wide on the turf because you're losing a lot of ground, and on the dirt for thoroughbreds, I think you can go four wide, and sometimes it'll benefit you depending on the horse you have. I've gone four wide the whole way around with the thoroughbred on the dirt, and then it's won me a lot of races. But on the turf, a lot of jockeys say you have to have a nice caliber horse to be able to go and take up all that ground and still be able to have some horse for the beginning, because it's you save all that ground and you can swing out on the turf, but on the dirt you can't so much, because horses tend to not come back if you take too much of a hold on them, and you try to let them go the last quarter of a mile. It just doesn't work.
Doesn't want to go then.
Exactly.
So when you were growing up, you had a horse named Sparky. What was his running style like? And I read that you took it from like California to Idaho to run in some races, right?
No, that was I actually went. I went to go ride some match races up there, but he was kind of one of those horses, low sal horses, just break and go, and try to go as fast as you can, and we'd I they made some little gates for me, some wooden gates, and I'd pull a little string and they'd open up, just go forward, and that little pony helped me a lot in becoming not a better rider, because I didn't even know what I was
You
doing.
didn't even know what you were doing then, huh?
Yeah, so just kind of helped me break out of the gate.
Yeah, probably did help you a lot. So if you can, like, in terms of your goals, do you have like a 1 year goal, a 5 year goal, 10 year goal? I mean, are you writing those down? And if you do, you care to share what what your shoot for the moon is?
Yeah, I actually have. The beginning of the year, I wrote some goals down on my laptop, and and I hid them somewhere. I know where they are, of course, and just at every milestone that I have, I try to check it off, and one of the ones that I wrote down before it happened was to win a Grade 1 race, and it happened at the beginning of the year, so I was able to check that off. But other than that was a couple goals that I set for this year, were to just continue to be successful and be safe, and um, never give up on my dreams that I have, and some of those are just to continue riding after my bug is done. Sometimes it's tough to stay here at the big track, at the great race place, but I want to keep on working hard, and hopefully I get the same opportunities as I'm getting now for when I become a journeyman. So that's one of my biggest goals for this year, is just to keep on working hard and show people that I can become a better rider, and become one of the guys that they think I am now. So I think that's one of my biggest goals for this year. But other than that, just to keep being safe, and a goal from 5 years from now is to have a nice house, and keep my parents in a nice house, and be able to take care of the people that helped me when I was coming up.
Those are admirable goals. I'm just going to give you a little bit of I asked that writing down your goals thing because Harvard or was Yale, one of those two schools, those good schools that I can never get into. That's I make enough money somewhere down the line to contribute to their endowment. But anyway, they tracked kids from their school who wrote down their goals and those who didn't. So these are kids who are smart to begin with, right?
Mm.
And the people who wrote down their goals, and it was like 3% of them or 7% of them, some small percentage of them, but that small percentage outperformed the other 93 combined. So it's an important thing to write down your goals. So just keep that in mind. If there's anything you took away from Shawn and I, just keep that one in mind. Other than that, probably not much value we added to your life today. So if there's if folks want to follow along with you online, follow along with your career and the types of things that you're doing, where should they do that?
I actually have a jockey fan page. It's Jockey Diego Herrera, and I have a Facebook and an Instagram, man. So if they ever wanna check some stuff out, I'll be posting on there more often. I've been a little slow on it.
Well, you don't have much time. You can't do it while you're driving between tracks.
Yeah. So I had someone that used to help me do my online, so it was a lot easier. But now that I have to do it, it's gonna be a little harder. But I'll get it done. I'll make sure that I post some stuff on there so people can see my day-to-day life. One of these days, hopefully I can I'll record one of my whole day and I'll post it and you guys can see what my day consists of.
Then we'll realize, thank God we're not jockeys.
Yeah.
All right, Diego, we appreciate 100% you coming on. We're going to follow your career, and hopefully when you win the Triple Crown, you'll be, you'll remember us and you'll come back on.
Of course.
Fantastic. Thank you, young man. We wish you nothing but success. Thanks again and have a great evening.
Thank you very much. You guys too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. As always, a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, and Shawn, as advertised, everybody says he's the most mature 17-year-old and everything else. And it's kind of funny because, and you talk.
Well, it's got to make up for me, the most immature 55-year-old.
Yeah.
Say, oh yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy Rose said the other day how most jockey, they have the arrogance and everything else, especially at a young age, and he right now does not, and hopefully, and it seems like he knows who he is, and he's going to stay that way.
He can just buy one of those Teslas that drives itself, Robert, just as long as it doesn't crash like most of them. Right? He's on his way to doing that for sure. And reminds me of an old joke. Anyway, should I tell the joke, Shawn, or no?
I don't know. Go ahead, sure.
Well, it kind of would be a little bit of a different joke. He could put his own thing around, but it was so a kid, right, wins the lottery, and his mom says, "What are you going to do with that money?" He says, "Mom, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini." She says, "Aren't you going to buy a house?" He says, "No, Mom. If you have a Lamborghini, you always have a place to stay." You get it?
Yeah.
So he's going to win enough money. He's going to have, he'll have plenty of people who will be willing to drive him around for sure. No question about that. But let's talk a little bit about the news today, Shawn. Today, one of the things I didn't know about this. Did you ever hear about this stuff before? Thanks, Mike. We appreciate that.
Claiming jail? No.
Yeah. I've never heard of claiming jail before in my life. So apparently, in a lot of places, if you claim a horse, you can't take it out of that state until 30 days after the meet is over. And now Kentucky wants to do this along with the, some of the, we talked a little bit yesterday about some of the differences in the workouts. So what they basically want to do with the workouts is if you've been off for 90 days, you got to show 2 reported workouts instead of 1. And if you're off for 180 days, again, you got to show at least 3 reported workouts and 1 within the last 20 days. These new rules are going to be suggested come the February 15th, so the middle of the month. I think, I personally, I feel like after we talked yesterday to Kim about, horses getting loose on the backside, I'd like to know a little bit more about the kind of like what goes on before race day could help you a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And about the claiming jail, I mean, I didn't know much about it, but I mean, it makes sense. You don't want trainers coming in and claiming all the horses and taking them, other tracks and completely screwing up the meet. So totally makes sense. And right, like we talked about yesterday with the workouts, the more, this is the thing with horse racing and keeping up with the sports betting and everything else you say, the more information the better can have, the better. So
Supposedly,
Yeah.
I don't know that would probably help much, to be honest with you. But I mean, it
I
would
don't
be
know if it
better
would
to have
help us
more.
win, but yeah.
Yeah, I think more workout information would be, I think. And you know what else I would like to know too? I think this is one of the things I'd really like to know because, and I forget who brought this up, but when they talk about workouts, and they're running against 117 horses in a day, right? I would like to know who else worked out on that day, at the same distance, so you can have a sense. And I think you could probably find these things on the websites. Yeah. So it probably requires, in other words, it's just me being lazy. I want somebody to do the work for me is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I wouldn't, that's interesting because I wouldn't know where to find that neither, but I have to figure there is somewhere you can find that.
Most tracks have it on their website. Like if you go to Gulfstream, they list the workouts. You just have to probably stick it all in Excel and then organize it.
And then the other thing I would love to know, and you're not going to know this unless you talk to a jockey or a trainer, and they're not going to self-advertise it, is there's always different goals with each training session.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can see an average workout, but that was the trainer's goal, essentially. You know what I mean? Or you see a bullet workout, and that was the trainer's goal. It wasn't really that the horse was all that great. They made him fire. So that's also tough to tell. You got to read between the lines on what they're trying to do. So you don't get much information there unless if you know a source, basically.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we got another case of the Fishman this time getting convicted for doping. He could spend up to 20 years in prison for doping horses, Shawn. I think this is a good thing because we're getting more and more and more of these public convictions of folks who are in the business who are doing things the wrong way, right? And, a little bit of jail time for others might dissuade other people who are misbehaving. What do you think? Or do you think that the lure of easy money is still going to be strong enough for folks to kind of try to find an edge, be it legal or illegal?
Well, I think, one, it is good. Set the example that this is what's going to happen if you get caught. It will never prevent it because you're still going to have that arrogance has been brought up a lot on the show, but you're going to have those people that have that arrogance that they're going to be able to do it and never get caught.
You're going to catch everybody else. You're not going to catch me. I'm too smart.
Yeah. Or they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to ride this train out. I'm going to have a great 20 years. I'll get caught. And, if I get caught, I'll figure a way out of it, but the tighter things get and the more jail time and stuff like that, hopefully it does persuade more and more. There should be less of it. So it's definitely good, throw the book at them. They did something that caused a lot of harm to the sport, a lot of harm to horses. Throw the book at them as much as we can.
Get them, Shawn. Get them.
Yeah.
By the way, you should talk to Diego about handling his social media, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about that. So one of the things I find kind of disappointing, maybe, Shawn, here is in Horse Racing Nation, they talk about the January betting falls 2%. Despite the rise in dates. And if you read the story, almost all of the handle drop was in exotic bets. So everybody apparently is doing win play show betting. And I wonder how much of that has to do with like the rebate houses and stuff like that versus the retail bettor, if you will. Or do you think it's because maybe there's more sports in January this year than there was last year?
That could be too. I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, COVID restrictions are less this year than last year, so it could be that.
Well, that should be more betting, not less. Well, then again, people are out instead of being stuck in their homes. That could be too.
Yeah, and you had less sports going on last year, like you said. The other thing, I imagine some takeouts are a little less in the win play show than exotic, so that goes back to the takeout, like you said. Also, I said about Gulfstream and with their new surface too, that they've had a lot on the Tapeta and it doesn't seem to be getting played as much. So that could be too, because I mean, we see it with other tracks. At Tapeta, it's very hard to look at a book and tell what's going to happen because just anything can happen. So that could be.
I think that would attract bettors, though, to be honest with you, not
your big bettors.
Well, the reason I say I think that might attract bettors is because if there's a speed bias and speed horse is going to win, right? Well, all the speed horses probably are going to be overbet and you're not going to get fair odds. Whereas if you have no idea what's going to happen because the track actually plays fair, then you're going to get better odds on your horses and your chances of getting bigger paydays are going to be on the Tapeta course, not on the turf course or on the dirt course.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess it depends who you are, but apparently the bettors are not liking Tapita at all.
They don't care for
Or
the
the synthetic or whatever,
Yeah,
Tapita.
that's what it is
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. So tomorrow night we're going to be talking about some races at Delta Downs, a track we haven't covered yet. Who is going to be our guest tomorrow?
G Money, winner over 6,000 career races. So it's going to be a fun
and he
show.
was one who had some early success.
Yes,
and then ran into some problems, right? So that was fresh in my mind when I was talking to Diego regarding tomorrow night with G Money from Louisiana. So that'll be a lot of fun. Thank you. We appreciate that, Robert. Thank you for joining us. And hopefully you'll tell your friends about us. Let them know if they like horse racing. This is the only place to go, even if you've never heard of us before, because you run a much bigger website.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we're a live show. We do over 10 shows a week. We have great guests on. We're not just bringing on,
Sometimes we make good picks too, but sometimes.
Well, hey, every horse bettor sometimes makes good picks, sometimes makes horrible picks. So.
Well, way to build us up, Sean. Anybody can do it. There you go, Sean.
No, I'm just saying
that's the best selling point ever.
Do you think the great bettors win every race if they're telling you that they're losing every race?
No, this is always my theory, Sean. So I remember, when I was younger and I'd go to like Sportsman's Park when it was still open, or down the Hawthorne, or to like Arlington Park, whatever track I would go to. So there's three different people that are at the track, right? You got the guy who's honest, right? Says, man, I got pounded, right? That dude lost everything, right? He's afraid to go home, because when he gets home, he's going to be in trouble and sleep on the couch for a while, right? Then you got the guy that says, yeah, I broke even, right? That's the dude who also lost, right? You get I broke. Like, that's the guy that he lost too. And then you got the third guy who plays it coyly, like, yeah, I did okay. That's the dude who won a lot of money, right? Because he doesn't want you to know. He don't want you to follow him out in the parking lot, because in some of these places in Chicago at Hawthorne and where Sportsman's Park is, you got to be careful, because some folks might actually follow you out to the parking lot.
Yeah. And the broke even guy is the guy that's trying to convince himself that he broke even.
Yeah, but he didn't. He lost money too, right?
Yeah. So he might have only lost $20 or $40, but he didn't even tell you that. He's convincing himself that he broke even. It's good. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, indeed, for sure. So Terry and I will be, speaking of being back tomorrow, Terry and I will be back tomorrow to discuss our thoughts at Aqueduct at 12 o'clock Eastern. So that should be fun. And then again, Thursday night, we'll be with G Money talking about Gerard Melicone. Is that how he pronounces his name? I don't know, Sean. We'll find out.
Yeah,
I'm just going to stick with G Money. It'll be a lot easier for me. And then on Friday, Tom and I are going to venture across the globe, to New Zealand. And then on Saturday, Terry and I are going to cover a couple races, probably at Gulfstream Park, at Santa Anita, and at Oaklawn Park, to cover the stakes racing. And that should wrap it up for the week. That'll be all of the shows that we put in. And of course, Terry and I'll be back on Monday. You can always find news, Terry's best bet of the day, over at horseracingtoday.net. And if you haven't done it yet, please follow us on Facebook at Horse Race Today, the same handle at Twitter. And while you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. We're really shooting for that 1,000. And when we get there, maybe we can make 20, 30 cents a month from YouTube, while they make millions.
There we go. And then to get on Horse Center, we'll be back next week too. Monday, we have trainer Tim Clayshaw. Tuesday, we have Mike Smith. Wednesday, I have blank. I'm working on a couple people. Could have another Hall of Fame jockey. We'll see. And then Thursday, we have the announcer for Naira and NBC, Lafitte Binkai.
Beautiful. So it should be a fantastic week once again. And of course, if you guys have any questions that you want us to ask, you can do it right in the comment section, or you can let us know on Facebook or Twitter, again, at the handles that are scrolling below here on YouTube and Facebook, or you can email me directly at gtsrichb@gmail.com. I check my emails all the time. And, if I get a response from anybody, I always get back to them as quickly as I can. All right, Sean, that's another night at Horse Center. I appreciate your time tonight, folks. And as always, we hope that you
win all your photos.
Yeah, we got to come up with better. All right, folks, have a fantastic night. Terry and I will see you tomorrow.